Welcome to an update video of my texture pack, Mickey Joe's Barely Default, where I add a lot of name-dependent variants with my texture pack. For example, call a netherite sword Black Knife, and it looks like the Black Knife from Deltarune. The weapons that my pack added used to look different. This is what the rename would look like. It's the diagonal cubed style that's very familiar to Minecraft. And now I'm doing a more 3D look. And we're going to be looking at some new renames that I've added this update, and also looking at old renames that I've now 3Dified. And last week I asked you guys to comment below which franchise I should 3Dify next, and the franchise with the most votes was Adventure Time. And the same goes for this video, okay? Comment below, right here, which franchise I should do next. Also comment below what we should make this guy do, because he said he'd do anything. Here I am, doing Adventure Time. Give us something that this guy should do, and then the top comment, he'll do it. Today I'm also going to be showing off some secret renames that will not appear in the document. I have a big document that has all my renames, right? It's going to be exclusive to this video. So make sure to watch the entirety of this video, because Adventure Time has a lot of swords, and we can start right here with the Adventure Sword, which does not appear in the show, ironically, but it is in the logo of the sword. Actually, it does kind of appear. There's one episode where Finn imagines a really powerful sword, and it kind of looks like this sword, but it is solely based on the logo of Adventure Time. So it's a really slim sword. It's just kind of a nice sword design, right? You don't have to be into Adventure Time to use any of these. You might just like these. And then this is the old version. You get it by adding the little 2. I just paste the little 2, the squared 2 in there, and it turns into the old rename. So both renames are in the pack for all renames. So, you know, whatever style you like. If you like 3D, use this one. If you don't, you use that one. Then next up is the Sword of Battle. This is the first sword of Finn. I think it's the most iconic sword probably in all of Adventure Time, and it's really polished. The businessmen have had their way with this sword. It's a very pristine version of the Sword of Battle. This is the old sprite, which was always very battered. I always feel like this flat 2D style is too small, but some people have told me that the 3D style, they think it's too big, but I really like the new look of Scarlet. And in Adventure Time, the Sword of Battle is basically in almost every episode, it's chipped in some way. So I've included durability dependent variants for the Sword of Battle, and I have that for the unnamed default swords too. So this is a netherite sword and it loses durability. You can see it reveals the diamonds, but I have the states for the Sword of Battle kick in a little bit sooner. Okay, so this first stage where it gets 2 little chips in it, it already looks a lot like the Sword of Battle for most episodes. This already happens when you get around, like, I don't know, 250 hits with the sword, and this is what it looks like if you're, you know, really need to repair it. A really immersive Sword of Battle, which in the show actually turns into the 4D sword, which was suggested to me a lot. I should definitely do this one, and I've done it now, and it is one of my favorite renames, definitely in this update, maybe even in the entire pack. It looks crazy. I just really love the 4D sword. We can make it nighttime too. You can see it has some emissive maps. It really looks like it breaks the art style of Minecraft, and that's like, I don't know, that you could argue that that's bad for my pack, but I really think that the 4D sword is kind of supposed to. It kind of looks like an optical illusion almost, right? Like it's collapsing in on itself. It has the aura, the subtle cube aura, right? I didn't want it to be too obvious because it's not actual particles, right? It's like if you move around, then the aura kind of moves with it statically, but maybe that fits the 4D vibe as well. Anyways, I'm happy to present it. It only appears a couple of frames, right, in Adventure Time. People have suggested this as like one of the coolest swords that I should add, and I was like, oh, this looks really epic. And then it barely appears. It doesn't fight anything other than a 4D black hole. But yeah, it's there. The name is sword, 4D sword, and you get that. And I never had an old sprite for it. That's a completely new sword. But if I add a rename, I'm not just adding a 3D rename, right? I'm also including a new old sprite. So yeah, the 4D sword also works as a flat sprite. It's a lot less interesting, in my opinion. 3D style is definitely the way to go for this sword. You don't even have to be into Adventure Time. You could just be like, hey, this is a cool, dark, black, sort of void sword. Speaking of which, check this out. Okay, so this is now possible in the latest snapshot for pack makers. We can kind of model with the end portal texture. This is really crazy. So this is also a new rename. It's just a netherite sword. You can see, and if you call it exactly void sword, it turns into this night sky end portal sword, and I really want to do a lot more with this. This is the first thing I thought of. I thought I had to do this, you know. It's a cosmetic pack for a lot of items, but the swords, I don't know, I always end up adding a lot of swords, and they're very important, right? It's the main weapon people use when playing Minecraft, I think, by far. To have a lot of variety, you know, to represent everyone's playstyle is very important, and this became possible. We can now model with the end portal texture, so I had to try this. It is still kind of finicky to do it, so I hope you like that. You know, that's not Adventure Time related, but you know, they had to include it, the void sword. It is crazy. I love it a lot. It's kind of on brand, right? We have a whole selection of, like, I don't know, logic defying swords now, and the 4D sword's new, void sword's new, and you can also get the 4D sword squared, which is like, I don't know, it's just a 2D sword, basically. Fine. Let's move on to Jake's sword, which is an entirely new rename. I've included the old sprite as well, so Jake's sword squared. You can also get that if that's your style. But yeah, Jake's sword, he never uses it. Ever in the show. I researched show. I haven't watched Adventure Time, alright. But I try to do a lot of research on the renames I add. And yeah, he never uses it. But it is his sword. Pretty iconic. It has a really long handle, longer than the blade. Cool eye on it. I don't know. It has a cool skull. Then we have the grass sword, which you should never buy. It's cursed. Alright, look, it has a little vine around your arm. It's pretty cool. This is my old version of it. I already had this one. Don't use it. And let's check this one out, alright? The fin sword. This is a sword that's created from another fin. Somehow there ends up being two fins, and then, you know, there's like a shadowy god figure on a wall, and I think he turns one of the fins into a sword, and that's this sword. It's the fin sword. And it kind of talks to you. They're kind of buddies. And then eventually the grass sword stabs the fin sword, and then they kind of merge into a whole new person. Alright, into a grass guy, which is interesting. Alright, next up the root sword. He just picks this up. It's in a train somewhere because an evil conductor with a skateboard has just killed Jake. The sword is just kind of there, and he picks it up, and then it turns out that the evil conductor with the skateboard is just Jake. I don't know. This sword just kind of appears, and I used it for a while. I made a cherry wood colored. Fits within the Minecraft lore. A cherry wood colored sword. I think it's really cute. And then this is the old version of it. You can get that too. The root sword squared. It's still in there. Square root. There's a pun in there somewhere. I can't think of it right now. And the root sword actually also gets a chip in it if it loses durability. It's kind of interesting because in Adventure Time, it's kind of one of those cases where, you know, it's hand drawn. So sometimes they'll draw a sword kind of differently, you know, or throughout the season, colors of weapons just change, or details of weapons. But for the most part, the root sword is chipped. It has a little chip in it, the official root sword sprite. But I just made two versions, alright. One that's pristine, and then if it loses durability, it gets the chip. So, you know, it's dynamic at least. Then you might have been looking at this. We really have to get into it. What is this? Completely crazy. Should be a mace, but it's not, because it's Adventure Time lore. It is a sword. Literally, it's a sword. He tries to imagine a cool sword, and then he remembers that he often has nightmares about sharks eating his face, and then the sword turns into a shark.
I usually dream of messed up stuff, like a shark trying to bite off my face.
And then the sword is never seen. It's like used in one scene. It's crazy, but it is a really cool, iconic sword. I liked it, the idea of it, so I thought, let's give it a try. Obviously, it's animated. It's pretty crazy. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but it also has some keybind dependent models. And this might be hard to spot, but if you see it in the corner of my screen right now, right? I'm just holding it, and I move from left to right, it kind of flops. It's the exact same mechanism that I have for fishing rods. I think on fishing rods, it's more obvious though. See the bobber right there? As I move, it kind of flops around, giving you the illusion of physics. And I've done it too for the shark sword. So it does kind of flop around as you walk, which is interesting. Imagine I'm fighting this armor stand, all right? Lucky for me, quite an opponent. As I'm walking to the right, the shark sword is gonna move to the right as well, right? Because of the keybind dependent model. So it is kind of looking at me now. Pretty crazy use of keybind dependent models. So if I'm moving left, the sword will also move left. And keybind dependent models in Minecraft are client side, meaning that they are dependent on my key solely, me, the player. So someone else is holding the shark sword in this case, right? And I'm still activating it, which is interesting. It means you can make the sword headbang like this. You see that? You can get it sync up with the animation, and I don't know, it's crazy. Is it super useful? Maybe not. You can kind of make it go in circles like this. Look, it's really going crazy right now, the shark sword. One of the craziest models I've ever added. This is a crazy update, alright? We got the 40 sword, we got the void sword. Somehow that goes into the Adventure Time update as well. Really inside baseball. If you see someone walking around with it, you will probably expect that it's a mace. You really need to pay attention when watching Adventure Time even, because it appears in one scene. This is definitely a sword, just a sword. It's super obnoxious, it's crazy, but it's in the pack. There you go. And of course, you can also call it the shark sword squared, but it's not so interesting because, you know, I wanted to keep the shark 3D. That's something that I would even do with the old style. You can see that here already with the knight sword. The squared knight sword was already 3D. I already kind of played around with that style. So if you get the shark sword squared, it'll just be a flat handle as opposed to a 3D one. You see that? So it's a minor difference. I thought I'd include it. Why not? Pick your shark sword. I can't believe we have two shark swords. We have already moved on. Good, from the shark sword to the knight sword. So this is a new one, 3D knight sword. In Adventure Time, it is created by a giant piece of candy, and then it's blessed by someone's dad. Whee! To be a, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's cursed too. He uses this for a while, the knight sword. It's pretty iconic as well, and it has a really nice palette. The old version, I had a different palette for it. I guess I had a bit of a different vision. I don't know, I thought I'll just keep it, you know, keep the old stuff. It's kind of like my programmer art anyways, because now I have a chance to rework everything with a new vision. Then we have the demon blood sword. It's made of demon blood, which makes it really powerful. In my pack, it's just netherite that's painted and shaped to be this, which is kind of the lore for all of this stuff, right? It's not actually supposed to be magical. It's just netherite, and, you know, I have a taste. You know, hello. You're able to change your skins, so why couldn't you just change your swords? And that's kind of what we're doing in universe. But yeah, in Adventure Time, it's made of demon blood, which is crazy. It's a pretty nice sword though, right? It looks really imposing, it looks really evil. And I think it used to be Finn and Jake's dad's, because Finn and Jake's dad somehow had a demon in his basement, and then the demon freed itself by purging itself of all of its own blood and turning that purged blood into a sword. You know, the demon blood sword. And then Finn and Jake's dad, who went to pee, comes back and throws holy water on the demon, and then the demon perishes.
Taste it, scrub!
Man, I can't believe it. I got a wee-wee again.
And then he picks up the sword, and that's how it comes in his possession, and eventually it gives it to Finn and Jake. And it's a pretty prominent, powerful sword that's used in a bunch of episodes. So there you go. That's me trying to explain the Adventure Time lore. And next up, we have a completely new one, and it is Nothung. This is Billy's sword, a really prominent character in the show. And he has a pretty cool sword, and this is the 3D version of it. And I really like it. It has the cool skull on it, you know. This is a really nice sword to just use, even if you're not into Adventure Time. It looks really cool. Very versatile. This Billy's pretty cool, right? He has like a magical gauntlet, and he rides a motorcycle. That's cool. Then we have the small sword. This is my old version of it. Already had some 3D elements. The 3D guard. Just a rapier, right? Even if you're not into Adventure Time, you can use this. And then this is the new one. All right. It is really sharp. The small sword. Look at that. Finn tries to use this to perform an operation.
Any questions?
No, let's see where this goes. I want to see brains.
For some reason, he thought that was a good idea. I don't think, you know, I don't know. It's fine. He also uses it to fight and slay a bunch of monsters. It's a cool design for a sword. Just don't think you should be performing surgeries with it. But what do I know, you know? Then I have the Sword of the Dead, which appears in like one episode only. He picks it up, pretty sure in the graveyard. It's just lying there. But it looks like it should have a lot of lore. Like the sword has a little skeleton at the end of it, and the skeleton has like a diamond chunk sticking out of it. So what happened there? You know, obviously it's diamond embezzled as well. Anyways, it's cool. It's a really cool sword. It's a really big sword. Appears in one episode, but yeah, it is cool enough to appear as a rename, I thought. And we need a Sword of the Dead, you know. That's a good name for a sword too. And here you can see the squared version too. It's completely new. I never had the sword before, so it's a completely new rename that I've added in 2 styles. Pick your favorite Sword of the Dead. And in the show, the sword has a little chip in it, so I added that as well as a durability dependent variant. If you're using the sword and it starts to lose its durability, you see that chip appear? That's it. All right, that's the little feature that I added for it. But I think that's cool, right? You're running around the world and you just notice your sword breaking. And, you know, you might not even know about the feature. It's fun. And then next up, I have the Catuambivolcusorix. Yeah. Good luck with this. Good luck typing this out or remembering the name. It is the Sword of the Fight King. It appears in one episode. It's a sword of some guy who wants to fight a bunch. And he has a cool looking sword. It is a cool looking sword. I kind of just found this on the wiki and I thought that it looked a lot like Nothung, doesn't it? Maybe a little bit. No? So I thought maybe there's some lore there. Actually, I have no idea. Maybe not. But yeah, the Catuambivolcusorix, whatever this is. Also, I like the unique name. I think that's kind of fun. I feel like fans of the show might already call their netherite sword this. And the name of this sword doesn't actually appear in Adventure Time at all. It's like an IRL book that they sell, like a scrapbook, an Adventure Time scrapbook. And the name of the sword appears in there. So this is the official name of the thing. This is the flat version, of course, you know, for people who prefer that style. And then I have the axe bass, which is a crowd favorite. Just a big axe. All of these have been for netherite swords, right? But this one is for netherite axes. So there's one axe and a bunch of swords added this update. Looks great on walls as a decoration piece. But you can also just really slay your enemies with this. We can take a look at the old version as well. I already had this one. It's so tiny. I feel like when I made this didn't feel tiny, right? This felt fine. But now that I'm like in this 3D vibe, comically large, I think that's fun. It fits Minecraft, in my opinion. So yeah, the axe bass, it's back. And it's 3D and it's huge. Or, you know, if you like the old style, you use the X-Bass squared. And then for crossbows, the candy cane shotgun. It is a candy cane shotgun. As it is in the show, you just reload it and then, you know, it comes loaded with an arrow and you fire it. That's how crossbows work. Sweet and simple, exactly how it is in Adventure Time. But it's fully functional as a crossbow. I think it's pretty clever, right? The reloading mechanism, like a big part of the rename, by the way. The sound, let's aim for the pig right there. Shoot him right in the ass. And while we're here, I'll show off this totem of Undying that I've always had in the pack. It's the lemon of Undying. And stuff like this is pretty sweet because obviously, you know, you get to see the Earl of Lemongrab in the corner of your screen as you're playing. Plop him right there. And you can just collect totems to decorate your base with little figurines. And I think that works well for shelves. So that's it for all the renames? No, it's not. Alright, I actually have a lot more stuff to show you. But we gotta move into the treehouse for that. And then later on, we have the secret renames as well. Alright, we're gonna do those last. First, we'll move into the treehouse and we'll gaze into this chest because I've been wielding this shield. Maybe you're wondering, is that all he did? No, it's not. So this new Jake the Sword kind of just has his face on the hilt, which I just think is a much better look. You know, it works a lot better. I just like to imagine that this is kind of your companion, your buddy. You're just kind of chatting with Jake. And for immersion's sake, I guess you're only supposed to have one of the Jake tools, right? So there's not multiple Jakes, right? You can have a Jake shovel. And this is what that one looks like. Jake the shovel. You got Jake the axe as well. Looks like he has big old ears. He does have ears. And I guess he turns him into axe blades. Then we have Jake the mace. And I kind of made him at an angle. If you're using it in first person, you just kind of pokes into your screen like this. but I don't know, I thought that was Jakey. Isn't this Jake-ish? Jake the Maze got quite a significant upgrade, and we can look for, just for fun, look at the old Jake the Maze, because it is kind of bad. I don't know how I got into this, how I even made this. Just in a flow with the small Minecraft items, because even the default maze is fairly small, right? So I guess this size just made sense to me. It looks so weird though. It doesn't even look like a maze. This looks more like a proper weapon. Jake the Maze. There it is, alright. The new 3D fashion. Then I have Jake the Trident. Why not? Let him turn into anything. Jake the Fishing Rod. Okay, honestly, this is kind of where I lost inspiration a little bit. This is literally just Jake's head put on a fishing pole, and then it's just a default fishing pole otherwise. He blinks though. You got your little fishing buddy with you. It's a new fishing rod rename. Those are kind of rare, so that's exciting. Jake the Spear. Look at him. He's just really looking at you because you're having a chat. You're on an adventure and he's turned himself into the spear for you. You attack with him and he's just whoa. And then Jake the Hoe is kind of the same way. He's just looking at me as we're fighting. Jake the Pickaxe, I mean, you get it. It's Jake turned into a tool. It works on all the tools. Jake the Bow, it's alright. It's Jake's head on a bow. You know, what do you expect me to do? Alright, but it's fully functional. So here you go, Jake the Bow. Get him as a bow. He's your bow buddy. Jake the Crossbow. Okay, this one's kind of weird. Alright, I'll admit. This one's kind of strange. Maybe uninspired. I don't know. I'm doing a lot of these, alright? Give me your best ideas for what else I should do for this one. Maybe you already like it. It's just Jake. And as you're loading your crossbow, he just kind of holds his arms backwards and he holds the arrow for you like that. So this is Jake ready to fire his arrow. His arms are all stretched out behind his back. I mean, it's kind of strange, but this is Jake the Crossbow, okay? Don't judge. Just enjoy it. Jake the Totem. He sits on your shoulders. You can see that as I hold it instead of in my hands because he's kind of just chilling on your journey with you. He blinks. Pretty good one to put on shelves or in item frames, right? To decorate your base with. You can just kind of put a block below it and he's just kind of chilling there. And I designed it so it kind of floats slightly above a block. So, but you can put a pressure plate there and he's properly sitting there and chilling big time. Jake the Totem. Then we have Jake the Compass. It's literally Jake as a compass, okay? I don't know what else you want me to say about this. Jake could probably turn into a compass, why not? Maybe he can kind of make himself magnetic, or he would just kind of have to hold a compass pin. But that's already included in the recipe, alright? That's made of the redstone, obviously. We all know how to craft a compass. And then we have a recovery compass as well. It's the same name, just Jake the Compass again, because why not? It's a different item. And this is a reference to Jake's depressed form, I think. At some point, Jake and Finn have a fight. And Jake goes away into space on a big planet, goes and hangs out there for a while probably. Finn goes and looks for him and he finds him and then he's all blue and kind of evil looking because he's been alone from Finn, I think. I don't really know. But yeah, Jake the Compass also works on recovery compass. Kind of fun. Alright, Jake can turn into multiple things and everything is yellow except for this one. And if you're someone who prefers the squared style, they're all there for the Jake stuff. Jake the Rod squared, Jake the Spear squared, Jake the Hoe squared. I mean, you get it. 2 styles. But actually, because we're gonna get into the secret renames now, it is 3 styles of the Jake set. But for that, I'm gonna have to change my skin. We'll head into the special secret Jake cave that we have right here. And the next set of renames kind of only makes sense if you're using a Jake skin, which will make sense if we look at them. Because it is just a bunch of tool handles and blades that you can use as extensions to Jake. Because he's a shapeshifter. Instead of having a hoe called Jake the Hoe, which turns into Jake who has turned himself into a hoe for me to use. And now I'm Jake holding a Jake. That's not the best. I don't recommend you do that. But just for demonstrating purposes, right? So you understand the concept. Jake the Hoe. What happens if you get Hoe the Jake? Okay, and the name makes no sense, but I thought people can kind of discover this on accident if they're typing the name and they get it wrong. But other than that, this is a rename set exclusive to this video, which I thought makes sense because it's exclusive to the Jake skin, right? It kind of requires an explanation. If you see this on the big document of renames, I don't think it's gonna make sense. If you're using a Jake skin and you kind of just want to pretend that you're morphing into tools, Hoe the Jake, Maze the Jake, have a big spiky ball come out of your arm as Jake, Shield the Jake. Pretty interesting, it's invisible if you're not using it, right? So maybe good that it's not on the document, because this is technically the most PvP advantage shield. You don't even see it unless you're using it, because of course if you do use it, it just makes a shield out of Jake. Crossbow to Jake, I don't know, whatever. I don't know if I have many ideas for these. It's just a crossbow as arms, and then, you know, and he lays an arrow on it, and you can fire it. And the bow to Jake is exactly the same. You just shape the bow kind of different, right? So this way it's kind of horizontal as a crossbow, and the bow to Jake has it like this. Axe to Jake, he just turns his hand into a big axe blade. Spear to Jake, probably the weakest one of the bunch. It's just a big sharp spike, and then you kind of just extend it like this. Sword to Jake, just a blade coming out of his arm. I think that one makes a lot of sense, right? Shield to Jake, sword to Jake, that makes sense. He probably does this. Even though he has his own sword, he never uses it, so he must do this more often, turn his limbs into a sword. Pickaxe to Jake, I mean, you get it. It's just Jake turning his limbs into tools. Shovel to Jake. By the way, do not pause the video as you're punching with the shovel to Jake. And then, of course, trident to Jake, which is just 3 points. You know, so you're just punching with 3 points. And if you want to throw it, fine. Okay, this is the Trident to Jake. And there you go, that's it. That was my secret rename set. Literally only for people who use the Jake skin, but people who do use that skin will really enjoy this. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Actually, that's it. But it's been a really big update, right? A lot of crazy stuff. You guys will really enjoy this. Adventure Time fans. But also, I think this update also has a lot of general audience renames, right? Some really cool stuff. Abstract stuff like the 40 swords. My favorites. The shark sword and the 40 sword. Absolutely crazy. Crazy renames. But that's why I'm grateful to have done Adventure Time, right? Because it allows for fun designs like this. Like a moving shark sword that I can make headbang. And right now, that's like the ultimate fidget, right? Just having a sword and then just like watching it move around. That's crazy. And don't forget to comment below which franchise I should do next, alright? So I've now 3D-ified Adventure Time, added a bunch of new renames, and also turned the old renames 3D, obviously, as is the point. And I will now do it to some other franchise. So comment below, get the pack, alright? It's out for free. Like and subscribe to the channel. To the video. Like to the video and subscribe to the channel. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Let me know which one's your favorite or stuff I should change, I guess. Stuff you don't like. And have a nice day. Okay. Bye-bye.